Hi everyone, and welcome back to Turnabout Podcast. I'm your co-host, an invisible piece of toilet paper, Aris.
And I'm a slightly uncomfortable pee in your shoe, Lucie.
And welcome back to Turnabout Podcast. So today we have an extra special episode
A very special episode for sure.
A very special episode because this is the first time in Turnabout Podcast history that we're recording
in the same room
next to each other.
We are reunited after a very long time. It's insane. We started this podcast in November, December.
It's been half a year.
Yeah, and we haven't been in the same room, let alone the same country. We've been separated by several bodies of water and earth. We're reunited and we're super excited to finally be able to do this podcast together.
As it should be.
As it should be.
Not that online wasn't fun.
Definitely. And I feel like because it's what we're used to, it's almost weird to do it in the same room.
Yeah,
like I'm very used to my ways.
But yeah. So for today's episode, we thought we'd put a final dot, like an epilogue for our series in which we covered one game per episode. That was we wrapped that up last week.
Yes, last episode.
Yes, with Investigations 2. And now what we'll be doing is giving a score to each case and game, and like overall just giving scores and rankings in order to wrap it up and see, after so much like conversations and like judging and saying what we like and what we don't like, just finally seeing what works and what doesn't. Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert for all of the games.
For all of the games, yeah. But before we do that,
yes, this is time for Artist of the Week. As you know, every episode we feature an artist that contributes to the fandom. It's usually art stuff, so fan art, but it's sometimes different. But this week it's fan art again, and we have the pleasure of featuring the lovely art of ehlihr.
ehlihr
on Instagram.
Hi, ehlihr.
We'll link their Instagram and their Tumblr.
They have a card, so I'll just link that, and people can find their stuff from there. There's Instagram, Twitter, and Tumblr as well, and I think there's more stuff, so it's better if we link everything.
But they have a lovely fan art account not just for Ace Attorney. There's several other stuff, but there's loads of Ace Attorney. There's comics, there are fan arts, and it's truly wonderful.
There's lots of DGS.
Yeah.
Which makes me excited.
We haven't played it.
No.
Yeah. I think it's the most I've seen of DGS on one of the fan accounts we've featured.
Yeah.
And it is exciting. It shows that they like it and that it's interesting and it's worthy of making fan art. So nice.
There's a lot of output in general. And yeah, like when I'm editing and we feature an artist, normally I'm like struggling to find like someone who exclusively does Ace Attorney and who has like lots of work, so I can like have it displayed while we talk. But there's loads to go on their page, so
I know.
So yeah, which one's your favorite, Lucie?
I think we're going to talk about this one a lot, but it's the
Yatagarasu
2.0.
Yes.
It's so good and it's so creative and a very interesting discussion that it sparked between us of like, this could be a real thing.
I love this idea. We were discussing with Ironic Snap 2 weeks ago, I think, about Kay recruiting her team. And we were thinking about just a girl group specifically, but this is much better than a girl group, honestly,
Definitely.
because it reflects the original trio in a way. Not that Emma Sky is like similar to Callisto Yu in any way. It's just that she's like feminine, slick, and like she would fit that position. Whereas Blackquill is almost an exact fit with Tyrell Bad.
Yeah, but what was the job of Kay's dad? Was he a prosecutor?
He was a prosecutor.
So wouldn't Blackquill be kind of in her dad's position? And
No, I don't
Emma
think.
in Tyrell's? Like job-wise.
Yeah, job-wise, that will be it. Yeah.
That could be a really good trio.
I love
Kay
it.
with the plans, Emma with like the police connections, and Blackquill was just his sheer insanity, and he would intimidate people for them.
I know Blackquill would do it. Like
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure, but would Emma steal?
I think Emma could be convinced that it's for the greater good.
Yes. So that's your favorite?
Yeah, I think so. What is yours?
I have a few because I couldn't decide.
Yeah.
First of all, I think my favorite one as a whole is Maya kind of like going through an LSD trip. I love this one. I love the colors. I love her facial expression.
It is so good.
I love Mia's silhouette, like figure and the back.
It's very Alice in Wonderland in a way.
Very Alice in Wonderland. And yeah, I think this is a favorite one. I also like Francisca with short hair.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly.
And
pants. As she fucking should.
Definitely.
I love this piece.
I also like the change of whip. It's a shorter whip.
It's a kinkier whip.
Yeah.
It shows development. That's
Definitely.
What it does. And I also like the one you chose, but also in the from the investigations games, I like the one with Shilong and Edgeworth.
Oh, where they're like kissing?
They're smooth, like
cute.
Do we sheep them?
I think between Edgeworth and Shilong Long and Edgeworth and Phoenix, I like Edgeworth and Phoenix better. I think, but also they're in more games and they have a more complex history. So, I think that's a biased answer. What about you?
I kind of agree. Like Phoenix and Edgeworth is just the automatic default choice. So
yeah,
let's play it safe. So yeah, that's ehlir's work. Thank you so much for agreeing to be featured.
Thank you.
We love your work. I think it's super like. I love the
style.
The style, but also like the strokes for shading and the colors used. It kind of like gives it like kind of like an adolescent feel. Like it's not overly professional or like overly touched upon. And I think that's super cute.
It's great because it's a very specific style. Like it's one of those things where if I saw it in my Explorer page, I would know who it was by, I'll be like, oh, that's ehlir's work.
Yeah, they left their mark.
Yeah, exactly. It's so you recognize it immediately with the style, the face shapes of the character as well.
Yeah.
And the color pattern. It's very muted colors and stuff like that. It's great.
It's kind of like, caricatures.
You think so?
Like the one with Sebastian as well. So yeah. Thank you so much for agreeing to be featured on our podcast.
Absolutely.
And anyone who's listening, please go and
go to their account.
Yeah, and follow,
immediately.
Yes, immediately. Drop everything.
Run.
And show ehlir some love.
And thank you again. Thank you for everything, ehlir.
Great.
Perfect. Once this art has been talked upon, we can move on to the main subject, The main course?
Can I just say that I noticed that last week when I was editing our episode with Ironic Snap.
Yeah.
I realized how many times I say perfect.
Do you?
In the episode.
We should have a perfect count. And yeah.
Girl, I say perfect like a million times. And
perfect. It's also the tone is very important. You're very perky when you say
yes, perfect.
Yeah.
So
it's very enthusiastic.
Drinking game. Yeah. Please take a shot every time you...
Exactly. It's the new bottom.
Yes, every time I say perfect, please take a shot. And you'll probably end up with alcohol poisoning.
Nice. That's what we always want.
Perfect.
Okay.
So...
let's do this.
Yes, let's do this. So we'll first start with ranking the games briefly, because we've already done an episode on this. Like our first or second episode was this.
I don't actually think my ranking has changed.
Okay. So we can just cover it briefly. What is your ranking?
My ranking is first, Phoenix Wright Trials and Tribulation.
Yes.
Second, Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. Then Ace Attorney Investigation 2. Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Justice for All.
Wait. First was Trials and Tribulations.
Yeah. Second was the first one.
The first game?
Yeah.
Yes.
Then it's Investigation 2. Fourth is Justice for All. Fifth is the first investigation. Sixth is Dual Destiny. Seventh is Apollo Justice. And eighth is Spirit of Justice.
Okay.
What about you?
I can't believe you placed Spirit of Justice
last
under Apollo Justice.
Yes.
Like, that's your arch nemesis.
Yes, but Spirit of Justice has brought... it's just so mediocre.
I know.
At least Apollo Justice tried some stuff. There's some element that I can respect about Apollo Justice. But Spirit of Justice is just...
So, my list of ranking is Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Trials and Tribulations.
Okay.
Ace Attorney Investigation Miles Edgeworth Prosecutor's Past. Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Justice for All.
Okay.
Ace Attorney Investigation Miles Edgeworth. Apollo Justice Ace Attorney. Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Spirit of Justice. Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Dual Destinies.
Shocking. Before we move on to the other part, I would like to say something that I haven't said before and that I've been thinking for a while. I hate the name Dual Destinies. I'll just have to say it. It's a bad name.
I really like it.
I hate it.
Why?
Because there are 3 lawyers. I think it doesn't make sense. Like, it's all about trios. I don't like Dual Destinies. I do think Spirit of Justice is a really good name, though. Like,
Spirit of Justice?
Yeah, I think it like goes really well with the other names. Like Justice for All, Apollo Justice. I like this kind of theme. We should
touch upon that. Like, based... What? Okay, just rank the games...
By name?
By name. So, obviously, Investigation... Well, Investigation is kind... Like, it's... You're ranking the word Investigations, but the first game doesn't count because nor does Apollo Justice.
I love Trials and Tribulation.
Yes.
I think it's a great name.
Yes.
The alliteration of T's is great. So, Trials and Tribulation... Dual Destinies last... Then Apollo Justice is last? Like, come on.
No, Apollo Justice and the first game don't.
Okay, because Apollo Justice
because
is
it's just the name of the character.
It's a dumb name.
Okay.
Then I'll say maybe Justice for All.
Yeah.
Because it's a nice, like, it's relevant to the content of the game.
Okay.
Then Spirit of Justice, Investigation, Dual Destiny. That's my...
Well, what about Investigations 2?
That's Investigation. Oh, Prosecutor's Path. Yeah, I guess so. I'm not that into it. I don't really care.
Where does it go?
After Investigation.
Okay. So mine would have to be Trials and Tribulations,
So good.
Prosecutor's Path. I think it really captures that game well. Dual Destinies. I like the fact that there's destiny. Like, I think the duality is referencing Black Quill and Athena.
I don't like it.
And
Don't
then
like it.
and then Investigations, because it is just that, it's investigating. Spirit of Justice, because I don't have anything against it. And Justice for All last.
You don't like Justice for All?
No.
I kind of like it because it's like Justice for All, and then you get to Madame Guard, and you're like, oh, Justice for All? What is justice? Like, should we protect this guy? I like it.
What about Justice for my brain cells after most jokes?
True.
Perfect.
Justice for them.
Justice for my brain cells.
Yes.
That should be the name of the game. So, now let's move on to the most exciting part. We're going to be giving a score to each case out of 10. Are you ready?
I am.
So, Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. Let's go. The first Turnabout. What do you give the first Turnabout?
I gave it a 5.
A 5? I gave it a 5.5.
Okay.
I think it's like a medium score for like a overall like really good intro. It's like doesn't go above and beyond.
Yeah.
It's a short thing.
It's like, okay.
Yeah. So, Turnabout Sisters.
I gave it a 7.
A 7?
Yeah. It's a good case. It's a really fun case. It's not really fun. It's a good case. It's a brilliant introduction to Maya. I love to see their relationship forming. I don't give it an A or anything because I don't really care about Red White, and it's not like something that I found super. It's not like a character that was thrilled to you know what I mean? Like I wasn't really that into chasing him. I don't know if I'm making any sense.
You are.
What about you?
I gave it a 12 out of 10 because the bellboy is in it.
The bellboy, of course. I didn't even see it coming.
Yes.
I didn't.
I'm just kidding. I gave it an 8.
Okay.
Because although I do agree with you in that Red White isn't something special, where it does succeed is creating shock value reasonably by killing off Mia.
Yeah.
I think that was revolutionary.
Definitely.
It was like killing the main character in Psycho within the first like half of the movie.
It's episode 9 of Game of Thrones. That's what it is.
Episode 9?
Yeah.
Is it the one where he's beheaded?
Yeah.
Okay.
Basically, like every episode 9 of Game of Thrones, there's something super shocking happening. So it's episode 9 of Game of Thrones.
Sure. Amazing. So, I don't know, like, I think I originally had it at 7 as well. But I think I just consider that case to be just so dear to me.
Yeah. It has a lot of sentimental value for you.
And it's like, it's the first ever case.
Yeah.
We meet Maya, and it's really local, like, the hotel is opposite the office. The crime happens at the office. It's just like...
It's home.
Humble beginnings.
Definitely. It's very homey.
Yes. What about Turnabout Samurai?
I gave it also a 7. I think for me, they're good and in a different way. Like, Turnabout Samurai is such a fun case.
Okay.
An amazing villain that you're so excited to go against. Dee Vasquez, the queen. But I do think there are some elements to Turnabout Samurai that are kind of annoying, which is why I didn't give it an 8.
Like Cody Hackins.
Penny Nichols, stuff like that. They're like, Even salmonella is a bit gross. Kind of this element that provide it's a great case and I do like it. But for me it's a 7, which is an excellent grade because I was kind of difficult with my ranking.
You were like strict.
Yeah, I was strict.
Okay.
What about you?
I gave it an 8. Like I think we were on the same frequency.
Yeah.
Like we both think it's Turnabout Sisters and Turnabout Samurai is the same. Like for me, where Turnabout Samurai succeeds, Turnabout Sisters fails, like villain wise.
Exactly.
But
and even like murder wise, I think it's more complex.
Samurai, you mean?
Samurai, yeah.
But I definitely like have 10 times the care I have for my I care for Maya way more than Will Powers. Like Will Powers was the like first defendant which wasn't like a major character. So I think
I do really like Will Powers.
I like him as well, and I like the case, but I think it's on the same score as Turnabout Sisters because again, like they provide the same stuff, each in their own field and categories. But yeah, what about Turnabout Goodbyes, our first final case?
I gave Turnabout Goodbyes a 10.
A 10.
A 10. It is
a 10.
One
wow.
Of the. I gave 2 cases 10s. So I was
Let me guess what the other one is.
I wonder. But yeah, it was Turnabout Goodbyes. I think it's a perfect case, honestly. Manfred von Karma, you defend Edgeworth. And I love the setting. I love Lake Gord. It's so pretty. I have a passion for lake, and I think it started with this case. I love lakes, and just like the wintry scenes. Larry's there, Low to Heart. Every character is so dear to me, and the plot. Edgeworth von Karma. The DL6 case, amazing, brilliant, show-stopping, spectacular, never done before, show-stopping.
Put it in a blender.
Yes. What about you?
I gave this a 9.5.
Okay.
I also gave 2 cases a 10.
I wonder what those 2 cases are.
I was very greedy.
Yeah.
With my...
Which I think is good.
Yeah, I mean... The only reason it's not a 10 for me is because the others just have a better showing. Like, this is a perfect case, but somehow the other ones are just better. They just are.
I get that.
Perfect. So, what do you give Rise from the Ashes?
I gave Rise from the Ashes a 6.
Okay.
I know, I was really harsh, but this is just an exhausting case after a game finale. It's not placed at the wrong time. It's placed at the wrong moment. And I don't have really fond memory of it. I do really like Damon Gaunt, some of the settings and the music, but just like Mike Meekings and that like Lana Sky being so annoying. I think originally I gave it a 5.
Oh my god.
And then I was kind of like, Damon Gaunt and Emma Sky are really like redeemable qualities in this case. And I do remember it being very complex and interesting. It's just too much after that big of a case. What about you? So
I gave Rise from the Ashes an 8.5.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not a monster like you.
I told you I was strict.
I think this case is easily final case material. It's long in length, of course. I mean, it is exhausting. It's not that it's not exhausting. But I do like this very urban feel. Like, we start from the office in Turnabout Sisters, and then we end up roaming the entire city. I really like Damon Gaunt as a villain. I like how he just stares at the player. for like an awkward amount of time before he starts speaking. I love how he's like like how he implores his antagonist, like he gives Phoenix like the right to investigate, like he has nothing to hide.
Yes.
And yeah, Lana Skye and Mike Meekins might be annoying, and so is Jake Marshall, but and Emma Skye in my opinion in that case. But of course, I love visiting Edgeworth's office for the first time. I love investigating the underground parking space. I love Angel Star. I love her giving meals away all the time. I think it's a solid case. And yeah, I mean, it's not as good a final case as Goodbye, Turnabout Goodbyes, or Bridge, or even Farewell My Turnabout, but I think it comes close. Like, it's something in between. It's like if a normal case with if like a normal case had a final game villain and a longer length.
Okay.
Yeah.
I get that.
So
let's move on to Justice for All.
Justice for My Brain Cells.
Yes.
So, what did you give The Lost Turnabout Bestie Sock?
I gave it a 4.
Okay.
I had originally gave it a 3
Mm-hmm.
because Maggie Bird is annoying. The crime is stupid. Like the trial is idiotic. Like it's like, oh, I think it was bananas. Oh no, it was a glove. It feels. It's clowny. It's very clowny. There are some elements that I do like that made me go from a 3 to a 4. I love the ringtones and the music and that kind of foolery. And it's a difficult to do an introduction case. And so it was kind of creative, the loss of memory. And
yeah.
So for me, it's a 4. What about you?
Yeah, I gave it a 4.5.
Okay.
For me, the thing you said about being creative, I like how Ace Attorney reinvents tutorial levels.
Yeah.
Because it's not like normal game. Normal games, what they do is just explain it all over again, and people who would be returning would be like, okay, this is for like new players.
Yeah.
But here, you're explained the controls for the first time in Phoenix, right? Ace Attorney. Then he's hit in the head. Then you play as Mia. Then you play as Apollo.
Yeah.
Then
you play Athena.
And then you're in a foreign country. I think that's excellent.
That is really creative.
But for me, that's the only thing it has going for it.
Oh.
And also, one of the best names, obviously, Dustin Prince.
Amazing.
I think this is
right up there with Jack Sportsman. Deadman.
Oh my god.
We love it.
The best puns in the game.
Definitely.
But yeah, like it kind of falls short for me because what's the villain's name?
Richard Wellington.
Richard Wellington is annoying and his motive makes no sense. And I want to see Maggie Bird go to jail.
Yeah, like we're always defending her. No, let her go.
Send her to prison. Don't drop the soap, sweetie.
This is gonna be cut out.
No, it's not. I'm not.
I would like this on the record. I do not approve this joke. I just destroyed it myself with this joke. What about Turnabout and Reunion, Bestie?
Turnabout and Reunion, Bestie, I gave it a 7.5. You too?
I gave it a 7.
We're pretty much on par, except for Rise from the Ashes. Turnabout and Reunion was such a key.
Like, it is. I think it's a turning point in the franchise.
Really?
I think so.
A turning
It's
point?
the beginning of the Megatama. It's the beginning of the more
Right.
spiritual. I mean, there was a lot of spiritual shit, but with Pearls, it cements itself in the spiritual world. It could have taken a very different road, and I think it's a very important case for the franchise. Yeah, for sure.
Definitely, and it sets up Trials and Tribulations as well.
Yeah,
I
it
think
kind of sets up the whole story.
yeah. At the beginning, I didn't quite like it, despite it having my favorite character of all time.
Eeny meeny.
Yes, Queen. But then, I've talked about this before. I really like this case because it gives you that global feel, like not global, but like the fact that you can go to the village and then go to the hospital, which is
Yeah.
completely unrelated. I really appreciate that for some reason. I'm not sure how to explain it, but I really like it. I think it's a solid case. I mean, it's a standalone case. It's not like something revolutionary like
Yeah.
Turnabout Sisters, because like we defended Maya in the past, and I don't know, like I don't really vibe with Pearl. But yeah, it's pretty fun and it deserves a 7.5.
It's a fun case. It has really good characters. Like Eeny Meeny, Loda Heart,
Director Hottie.
Pearls. I really like the whole thing. Like it's a fun case.
We're joking about Director Hottie, by the
Of
way.
course. Morgan Fay is a very interesting person that they bring up, and she's going to be extremely important for the rest of the games. Wait. What did I want to say? I don't know. I want to say something.
Okay. Well, what now? Okay, while she brings her thoughts back, I want to say that it does lose some. I feel like it could be on par with Samurai. I'm not sure if I'd like. I said it's not on par with Sisters, but it could be on par with Samurai, which is weird because I gave Sisters and Samurai the same
Yeah, but
score.
it's not the same vibe.
Yeah, but I feel like it could be the same. Like it could have been given an 8 if we had gone against Morgan Fay as well.
True.
I think it loses some marks.
Eeny Meeny was such a likable villain. It wasn't that satisfying bring her down.
And especially since it's revealed at that moment that Morgan Fay was the one pulling all the strings.
Yeah. It's kind of like you get shady vibe from Morgan Fay from the start, so it's not really touched upon. But I remember what I wanted to say. I had a brain freeze, I'm sorry. I also really like that we are here during the murder. I think those are my favorite cases.
Yeah.
When you're like a witness. And I think that's the first case that does it. That's the first case when you're there beforehand, before the murder. And I love that. I think that's such a great element. You're not there during Turnabout Sister.
Right.
So, and I remember, I think I know it's during this case that the judge is like, you were there too, Mr. Wright. Like, you should like remember this. And you have this kind of thing of like, oh shit, I'm a witness too. And I really like that. It gets brought up several times during the games, and I think it's a great element. And also, it's the Francisca introduction.
Ah, yes.
Francisca, our baby.
The reason you brought up is also why I love Serenade.
That is true. I do like Serenade for this. Like, it's a really good element of Serenade.
Perfect. What about our favorite case of all time, Turnabout Big Top?
Turnabout Big Top, I gave it a 3.
Oh, okay.
Really? It is not the lowest that I've gave. Their lowest.
What's your lowest? No, don't tell me.
My lowest is 1.
1?
I gave a 1.
I gave a 1 as well.
Nice. And I gave a 2. So this is my third lowest.
Wait, let me check.
Yeah, Turnabout Big Top. Exhausting. Not funny. Mo, that creepy ventriloquist.
Not funny.
No. Acro, terrible villain. The dumbest crime ever. Oh,
Don't remind me.
I pulled the string of this super heavy statue and pull it back, and a cape attached to it itself by magic. And Regina is a child dating a very old man. It's creepy. She's so dumb. I don't like it. I do like the vibe-ish.
I like the vibe as well.
Yeah, I like kind of the music, the old-timey circus. I think it's a great idea. I just don't like the execution. That's why it's not my lowest ranking case, even though I really don't like it. But I couldn't give it lower than a 3 because it has some good elements.
I gave Turnabout Big top of 4.
Okay.
I really like the elements as well. I don't know how comfortable I feel it being set in the circus, considering like similar to the aquatic Turnabout, I don't like animal cruelty and them being kept captive. On that note, I've been linking the animal charities down below since the Dual Destinies episode.
That, yeah.
So please, if you have the time and you want to donate, you can take a look in the description. I've been linking them weekly. But yeah, some of the aspects because during my second playthrough I knew that it was gonna be bad, so I lowered my expectations, but it didn't turn out to be that bad. Like the pacing is horrible, Acro is horrible, Mo is unbearable, but I do like some aspects which I didn't appreciate the first time around, such as Francisca showing up in the on scene, because in the first in Turnabout and Reunion she wasn't there in the investigation. It was like kept as a reveal for the court, and then in Farewell we do see her in the investigation, but she doesn't show up in the trial. So this is like our first ever full-on Francisca encounter episode. I really like talking to her. I like how she has the tracker chip on Gumshoe. I like how it's snowing. I like the cafeteria area.
I do like that as well. Like, it really gives a different kind of feeling, a vibe, the whole snow, the winter. It's really wonderful.
I also really like Phoenix interacting with the animals, like his badge being stolen or being attacked by a tiger. I thought that was funny.
Yeah.
So yeah, I gave it a 4.
Also, in a recent, it's not recent, but in a Thomas Game Docs video that I watched recently, he explained that the whole Ace Attorney team went to an old-timey circus, visited it for research, and I think that's what I like the most about this case. It's like they really captured that vibe well. So I thought that was interesting.
Okay. We'll link the video below then.
Definitely.
So, Farewell My Turnabout.
I gave Farewell My Turnabout a 9.5.
A 9.5?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's an excellent case for me, especially because I haven't played it in a while. So, we've talked about it, but the problematic part of it is kind of smooshed over in my brain. All I remember is Malengard, and Sherry the Killer.
Yeah.
So, it's a really good case in my mind.
Unfortunately, I replayed it recently, so the problematic moments are more prominent and relevant. I give Farewell My Turnabout a 9.
Okay.
Because through my recent playthrough, there were some problematic moments, such as
the treatment of Adrian Andrews.
The treatment of Adrian Andrews is as after her attempted suicide, and yeah, like that, it was really uncomfortable to play through. And I also think it's too long in length. Like the radio Shelley the Killer parts were way too long, unnecessarily too long. The pacing wasn't that good, but the Gatewater Oriental or whatever is my favorite location of all time. Matt and Guard is such a good twist and such a good villain.
Yeah.
Shelley the Killer is such a great character. Maya being held hostage is revolutionary. Like, yeah, I really love that episode.
It is a really good episode.
So it's a 9 for me.
Okay, I get that.
So, let's move on to Trials and Tribulations. What did you give Turnabout Memories, Bestie Sock?
I gave Turnabout Memories my highest rating for first case. I usually gave them pretty low ratings because they're not that interesting. Like, it's not their fault, but it's just, not my favorite cases because they're tutorials. But this one is just excellent. Dahlia Hawthorne, the introduction, young Phoenix. I want that sweater so badly. It's so cute. Like, it's super interesting to see Phoenix at that age, and Dahlia Hawthorne being that awful person to get to bring down. It's so satisfying. And young Pain.
Yeah.
Amazing. With hair and stuff.
So what did you give it?
I gave it a 7.
Okay. I gave it a 7.5.
Okay.
Because the same reasons. I mean, we finally play as Mia. It's, again, revolutionary. I loved playing as her. I didn't want it to stop. Yeah.
Sure.
Everything you said. It is also my...
this person.
Yes, and it is also my highest ranked first case.
Perfect. We're in sync.
We're in sync.
We are. We're actually the band in sync.
Yes.
A little unknown band.
Who are you?
I am... Is Justin Timberlake in sync?
Yeah.
I am him.
Okay.
Who are you?
I don't know any.
I don't know any other. I just know Bye.
I know there's a gay one.
You're the gay one? Okay.
No, I'm not.
Okay.
I don't know. One of, the hottest one, in my opinion, plays in American Gods.
Ooh.
He's really cute.
I don't know what that is.
Okay. I'm none of the members of NSYNC. I actually want to see them have an orgy.
Okay, you could be...
They're
What's their competitor? Like, there was NSYNC.
I don't remember.
The one who's I Want It. Backstreet Boys. You could be one of the Backstreet Boys. Who would you be if you were in One Direction?
I don't know. I hate all of them.
You
Probably,
hate all of them?
I don't know, like Zayn.
Zayn, okay.
What about you? Would you be Harry?
I wish.
Okay.
Stolen Turnabout.
The Stolen Turnabout, bestie.
I gave the Stolen Turnabout a 4.
Oh.
It's higher than Turnabout Big Top. It's an annoying case, but there are more elements that I like compared to Turnabout Big Tops. I like that you go to several locations. It really feels like the location of this one is the city. Like, you go to Larry's office, you go to this Zvari guy's house, then you go to the museum, then you go to I like the variety. Look at Me reminds me of a guy I dated. Not in a good way.
Oh my god.
I do like this Zvari kind of thing going on.
Zvari.
I like his theme song. I think the music is excellent. His house is too cluttered. Like, there's too much stuff going around. Please hire someone.
Yuck.
Run the lights. It annoys me. Desire Ray is a baddie. All the stuff we said before about this case, I like some elements of it. Just this Vary thing, I really like it. I don't think Larry should be. It's just a messy case for me.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that enjoyable. It's kind of long, if I remember correctly.
It's quite long.
So it is a 4 for me. What about you?
I gave this case a 3.
Ooh.
The only thing I like about it is Desiree.
Desiree is a baddie. She's the best.
I hate everything else about it. Why is Adrian Andrews here? She's supposed to be in prison.
She is.
Why does Look At Me's house office look like, I don't know, something out of a...
BDSM dungeon.
No, something out of MS Paint. Why is there a murder only after the first trial?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
So silly.
I hate this case. It's a 3.
I get that, bestie.
What about Recipe for Turnabout?
I give it a 9.
Okay.
Because I love it. It's...
Oh my god.
None of this is based on fact. All of this is based on pure emotional attachment to this case.
Okay.
I spent hours making mini trials in this, like, in the setting of this case. I love it so much. I think it's my most played case. I replayed when I'm sad. I love it. I always played it. I've never played it in English, which I'm looking forward to doing. So for me, it's an Italian restaurant in my mind. But yes, I really like it. Furio Tigre is the best villain, the funniest villain, the most satisfying one. The case is so fun. The setting is so cute. Mia, charming customer with her big boobs. I love it. I don't like the homophobia. Yeah. Definitely.
Really?
Yes.
You don't?
But I know, unpopular opinion. But apart from that, this case is perfect for me and I love it. I don't know if I've said this before, but this case made me want to be a waitress. When I was 11, my dream job was to be a waitress, and I used to like dream about being a waitress one day. I wanted to be a lawyer because of Ace Attorney, but I wanted to be like a waitress while I was studying like my law degree. And I imagined like myself in this cute little cafe and wearing their aprons and stuff. I mean, that was before I understood it was kind of like a maid's cafe and stuff, and it was a bit sexual. But yeah, I was really into it. I love this case.
Amazing
What
content.
about you?
I gave this case an 8.5 because it's the best standalone case. It simply is.
It is.
I don't know. I like most stuff about it. I don't like the homophobia. I don't vibe with the homophobia.
Yeah.
But other than that, and I also don't like Victor Kudo.
I like him.
Like the pervy stuff. But other than that, it has Lisa Basil, one of my favorite characters.
She's amazing. She is.
It has Furio Tigre.
Could you imagine Desiree and Lisa Basil meeting? I think that would be
and
cool
having
together.
sex.
Yes.
Mia is shown here, which I love.
Yeah.
Like, it's a callback. Does Mia even show up in other than Farewell My Turnabout during Justice for All?
I don't think so.
Like, it's like a callback to her helping out when the situation doesn't need to be dire.
Yeah.
It's like when it's reminiscent of how she helped with Cody Hackins.
She's part of the team.
Yes.
That's what it feels like.
And I love it. I think it's my favorite standalone case.
It's amazing.
What about Turnabout Beginnings, bestie Sock?
I gave it a 6. Which is kind of harsh.
It is kind of harsh.
I don't know. It didn't left a big part of me. A 6 does not mean in any way that it's a bad case. It's just like Terry Falls is his name. I did like him. I don't know. Maybe I was a bit harsh. It's like, maybe it's a 6.5. Because it is a good case. It is the beginning of Diego Armando, which is...
So what's your final score?
6.5.
Okay.
I give it a 6.5. It's just, I don't know. I don't really vibe with it. I don't love the interaction between the young Edgeworth and Mia. I kind of don't care about young Edgeworth in a way because he's snobby, and I don't want to see that. I'm not that interested in that kind of chemistry and interaction. Dahlia Hawthorne is a pleasure to see, but because you don't defeat her, there is still like a bittersweet ending.
Yeah.
I like Terry Falls, but super depressing ending and sad. And yeah. So I like playing as Mia. I like seeing Diego Armando. But the rest of it is kind of meh for me. But it's still an excellent case.
Yeah.
I'm kind of also being harsh because it's such an excellent game that for me it's the weakest case.
Of course.
What about you?
I give it a 7.
Okay.
Because you're right that we aren't given much to vibe with. But of course it's a depressing ending, and it's like a small interlude which is just too short to vibe with. But I do like that things are finally coming to perspective before shit is blown out out of proportion with Bridge. I think it's a nice, again, an interlude. I love playing as Mia. I love seeing Godot before being Godot. Yeah. I also love that it sets up the scene for Bridge by having the crime take place where the Azakura temple is gonna be. And that Dahlia gets away in the end. I think it's pretty good. So yeah. What about Bridge's Turnabout?
I gave it a 3. Just not a really good case. No, I gave it a 10. It's the best case.
I gave it a 10 as well.
It's just brilliant. I think we've said it all.
It's the
best case ever.
Yes, crown jewel of the Ace Attorney series.
Every single character is brilliant. Probably my favorite case featuring Larry, like my favorite Larry interaction. He actually has value and helps. Iris, my baby. The Iris backstory, brilliant. Elise, love that. Bikini, show-stopping. It's so good. And such an amazing plot twist, such an amazing case, such an amazing game. Just 10 out of 10.
Yeah, it wraps up everything so perfectly. I love it. This is a perfect case. I think we've covered everything.
Definitely. Let's move on to Apollo Justice.
A sudden drop.
Yes.
An awkward silence has entered the chat.
A drop in quality.
Has entered the chat.
Yes.
What did you give Turnabout Trump? Turnabout Donald Trump.
This is gonna be shocking, but not so shocking if you listened to the podcast before. This case was the first one where we saw Papa.
What?
Did you just fart?
No.
Okay. I got brain hallucination. I was like,
I'm keeping that in.
Okay, perfect. It's the first case
I thought I was bleeding because you looked me straight in the eye.
I was so shocked.
Your eyes were widened.
I was like, how could you?
Are my eyes bleeding?
That was my face. No, you weren't breathing.
Breeding?
You weren't breathing, of course. It's the beginning of the downfall of Phoenix Wright for me. It's the Papa Out outfit.
So what do you give it?
I gave it 3.
Oh.
Because also,
oh my god,
the fact that Phoenix gives you false evidence, like, it destroys the character. It's not that bad of a case. At first I was like, I'm gonna give it a 1. And then I was like, no, Lucie, control yourself. It's not that bad of a case. It is, like, it's an interesting case, but I think it was not well executed and not well written. And I would rather, like, enjoy it so much more without Phoenix and without the destruction of his character, because I do think that having your mentor being the villain is so interesting, but the fact that they gave that away for the tutorial is so, like, they wasted the perfect storyline for me.
Okay.
What about you?
I gave it a 4.
Okay.
I wasn't.
Why did you gasp that loudly when I said I gave it a 3?
I don't know. I think I was expecting worse.
Okay.
I think this case has interesting ideas. I really like Olga Orly.
Yes, she's the only redeemable quality about it.
I also really like the location, the Borscht Bowl Club, with the snow inside. I think it's so low because it's such a weak introduction to a weak character. Like, first impressions matter, and this wasn't it. Even though having, again, his employer be a villain was super interesting. I really enjoyed that aspect. But yeah, most of it just goes to waste. Like, the murder wasn't explained well.
Totally.
Phoenix being a hobo, I was like, please make this go away, and it never went away throughout the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was such a shock to my system that I gave it a 4.
Absolutely.
Like, the ideas were there, but if Phoenix wasn't in it, it would be definitely much higher.
So much better.
And the execution should have been better. And Apollo should have been a better character.
Yes, for sure.
Like, who the fuck is Shady Smith? Zach Gramery. I don't care.
We hate him.
I hate him.
You
Yes, we
abandoned your
hate
daughter. Hashtag Zach Gramery deserved it.
Zach Gramery, don't drop the soap.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay, Turnabout Corner.
What about Turnabout Corner, Bestie Sock? I give Turnabout Corner a 6. You too?
I gave it a 6 too.
I mean, it's such a 6
case.
Yes. It's
Definitely.
such a 6 case.
I like the settings.
It's mediocrity at its finest.
Definitely. I think the settings is kind of fun, even though I'm frustrated we never got to go inside that house. I would just be content with, like, a living room.
Yes.
You know, just like an entree. But it's incredibly frustrating. Gail Dune is amazing.
Yep.
I like we get introduced to Drucy. I like the kind of panty thief going on. There are some elements that I like, but overall it's just kind of mediocre. What about you?
It's just mediocrity at its finest. We have to go into the house of Plum Kitaki.
Show us the house.
I did not want to defend Waki Kitaki.
He was annoying.
He deserved to go in the trash. I didn't like Alita Tiala. I didn't like her dress. That hideous attire. Lady, I hate you.
You're about to marry rich. Act like it.
Yes. I did like that I remember, like, finally kind of getting the memo. Like, this is Apollo Justice.
Yeah.
Mediocre video game. I like the animation style in most of the locations in Gael Dune. But yeah, it was just local. It felt like the panty thing I didn't like. It kind of felt like detached. Like the city, the cityscape and how it was drawn, I didn't like it at all.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a 6. So, What about Turnabout Serenade, also known as Turnabout Scooby-Doo?
I gave it also a 6.
Okay.
For me, in my mind, they're kind of the same. Not bad cases, fun but mediocre. Just I do enjoy the setting much more in Turnabout Serenade. And the vibe overall, just like the colors, the kind of purpley shade. I just hate our defendant so much. And I kind of don't really vibe with the characters, you know? I think I had more fun with the characters in Turnabout Serenade.
Yeah.
Turnabout Corner.
Yeah.
I think they were more kooky, you know? Whereas everything kind of felt bleak in Turnabout Serenade. It was all like, oh, traffics and stuff and the mafia and ugh.
Yeah.
What about you?
I gave it a 7.
Okay.
Because although this is also mediocre, I don't know. I really love vibe with this case. I don't want to say love, but I do love the setting. I love the setting. Like, it's a concert hall. What is there not to love about it? I love the colors. I love the palette. I love the dressing rooms. I love that we're at the spot where the crime happens. We're right outside the door. And there's this mystery about who shot Romain Letouce. Also, I love that name.
Romain Letouce is an amazing name for sure.
Just what the fuck is going on after? Like, it spirals out of control. I do like Lamiror's design a lot, but then I don't know, everything else goes to shit. Like, oh, and I also have a huge raging boner for Raging Boner Hair, Darien Crescent. But then everything spirals out of control. Like, the crime isn't explained that well. And even if it is, it doesn't make that much sense with the gun thing.
He couldn't have lifted up. He's a child.
Yeah,
it doesn't make any sense.
The child, Machi Tobaye, was super annoying. Like, we already established how I feel about children. Lamira was annoying as well. I don't know. It was like, it had a great setup and then it just all went to shit. I also like how it reminds me so much of a Tintin comic, a Tintin episode.
Yeah.
It's something Tintin in Slovak. No, wait. Give me 1 second. So it reminds me of Tintin, King Ottokar's Scepter, which is based in a fictional country based on Slovakia and Slovenia.
Oh, okay.
So, basically, what happens in that episode of Tintin, in that adventure, in that comic, I should say, is that people are trying to steal the king's scepter, and there's basically like international affairs involved. So it kind of like reminded me of that. And I grew up I grew up reading and watching Tintin.
Yeah.
So yeah, it reminded me of like that Slovakia, Slovenian influence, fictional country, international affairs. I liked it.
Okay.
So yeah, she's a 7.
What about Turnabout Succession?
I gave that a 4. What about you?
Give that a 5.
Okay.
I was less harsh.
I was harsh because at this point I've had enough.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, motherfucker.
It is my lowest rated last case because it's just so bad.
It doesn't deserve last case status.
Yes, it's just awful. It just is.
I don't know, like, again, we've discussed this already in the specific Apollo Justice episode, but we knew Kristoff was a villain. You've already used that card.
Exactly.
Stop using it. And the stamp was silly. I wish Vera Mission would either die or go to jail. The jury system, horrible.
Yeah.
The flashbacks did not make any sense. I didn't care about the magicians. I don't know, just it was a 4. It's as bad as Turnabout Big Top.
Yeah, and it's insulting that Phoenix would get disbarred for, like, by Clavier. Like,
A
it's so
teenager.
silly. It's just so dumb. It's so disrespectful to the original franchise.
Yeah.
I don't like it. Bad case.
Very bad case. Now, on to... We're doing this chronologically, so on to Ace Attorney Investigations 1, Miles Edgeworth. What did you give Turnabout Visitor?
A 4.
A 4. I gave it a 4 as well. Bestie Sock.
Yeah.
Because it is a 4.
It is a 4. Do we need to explain? No.
No. It's
4.
she's just a 4. Yes, she is.
She is.
What about Turnabout Airlines Bestie Sock?
I gave it a 7.
I gave it a 7 as well.
Oh my god, we're so in sync. It's a really good case. The setting is so interesting,
Yes.
and it's something that could only be made in investigation because there's no need for a court proceeding. And I love the kind of reclos. It's very Hercule Poirot. It's very detective for the 1930. I love it. The characters are great, and it's a fun case.
Yes, I really do think that the creators went out of their way and thought out of the box with the investigations games. I think this was an excellent case.
Yeah.
Like, well-rounded, with interesting characters, an awesome location, which would, again, not work outside in the investigation game.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, such a nice surprise.
I think that what happened is the kind of creator of the game took every single idea they couldn't like make in Phoenix Wright and put it in investigation.
Yes.
Like, I'm sure they've had this discussion of like, oh, we could do this in this setting or in this setting, and it couldn't work for those reasons. And then they used it for investigation.
Because it's this, what you're saying applies for most of the locations. I mean, there's a plane, there's a courthouse, there's the prosecutor's office, like inside the office, not just the parking. Yeah, I think it's like it was a sandbox moment.
Yes.
So, what did you give the kidnap Turnabout then?
I gave it a 5.
Okay.
It's not a great case. Characters are brought up, like, there's cameos kind of randomly. I don't love this case. I think the villains are lackluster. Great idea for a theme park, not a great execution. What about you?
I gave it a 4.5.
Okay.
I have mad beef with that case.
You have.
We've explained it in the investigations episode, but basically it had such a strong setup and it was a major disappointment. Yeah, I don't like this at all.
What about...
I didn't like this episode.
Turnabout Reminiscence.
Turnabout Reminiscence is a 7. Investigations is a very 7.
Yeah.
Like, not mediocre, but above average.
It's a B.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's a B.
I think Turnabout Reminiscence, the pacing was a bit off. But other than that, Callisto U, amazing. Kay's story, very heartbreaking.
True. And also Baby K.
Baby K running around with a cinnamon roll. We love her. Overall, just interesting stuff, which I don't know if they explored as much as they could have, but yeah, this was a 7. Like, it was above average, just like Investigations itself.
Absolutely. I think I gave it a 6. I don't love that case, as in, I do think there's some really cool element, like baby Francisca, baby Edgeworth, baby Kay running around. I love the murder weapon and the element of only one of the Yagadurasu could have known. But it's just not something that I remember super fondly of like, oh my god, I can't wait to replay this game in this case. So I think for me it's a 6, you know, it's an okay
it's a very forgettable case.
Yeah, exactly.
So what about it's kind of like a direct connecting episode?
Yeah.
Like it picks up the themes it sets up in Reminiscence. Basically all of the investigations. Like I think they tried to show a linear continual stream.
Yeah.
Like it starts with the visitor, but then there's a flashback of airlines, then kidnap turnabout is after airlines about the kidnapping. Then it goes back to when they first met Kay because she returns, and then right after it's the conclusion, which I kind of love.
Yeah, it's very coherent.
And I love how it's also then perfected in the second investigation.
Exactly, yeah.
But yeah, Turnabout Ablaze is an 8 for me.
Okay.
Because it has some very good elements. Larry is back. The villain isn't great, Kirkus Alba.
Yeah.
But we do have the reveal of Callisto Yu as Sheena. There's a lot of Fanny Gugs. There's Mask the Mask.
Murder.
Yeah. Yeah.
I gave it a 7.
Okay.
Which is, I don't care about that case that much, but there are some really fun elements, which you just have listed, like Callisto Yu, Larry. I think it was like a good idea, but it just, I don't really care about it. But for me, it's a good case, 7.
It kind of, what weakened it wasn't a too complicated story, like an overall story with the international affairs and stuff.
Absolutely. And the villain, that was kind of like, Callisto Yu the final villain would have been much more interesting.
What did you give Reminiscence?
I give it a 6.
Okay. So, onto such a shift in tone onto the best game.
I was really harsh with the first case.
Oh my god. What did you give Turnabout Target?
I gave it a 5.
A 5?
Yeah, I don't really care about it. I thought it was too long and too heavy for a tutorial, and I didn't like it that much. It was not a bad case, but it was kind of meh for me.
Okay.
What about you?
I gave it a 7.
Okay.
I'm not afraid to admit that I'm kind of biased towards this game, but I do think that it's such an excellent first case. Like, Edgeworth being on the scene of a presidential assassination is amazing. The park, Gourd Lake, the return to Gourd Lake, with the cherry blossoms like blossoming on top. We get to meet new characters which do stick around, such as Nicole Swift and Horace Knightley. And we do get to meet the president, and it just sows the seeds. Shelley the Killer is back. I think it was just a solid introduction. And I also really like how they established that, unlike the other games, this actually just takes place 2 weeks after Investigations 1.
True. What about the Imprisoned Turnabout?
I gave the Imprisoned Turnabout a 6.5.
Okay.
Because my biggest complaint from it is that the murder wasn't explained well.
It is so not well explained. It's so badly explained. It's so true.
It's so complicated.
I remember having to Google it at the end of being like,
same.
Why were there a chisel there? Like, it's so confusing.
So it took a lot away from my gaming experience, trying to focus and figure out what the hell was happening as it was being explained to me. But yeah, I like this case. it builds on the foundation built by, like, the foundation set by the original trilogy, like the detention center. I like how it continues and becomes a prison. I like the introduction of Raymond Shields. I like Saren Dogan. I like the return of not fan favorites, but Regina Berry and Frank Sawit.
Yeah.
It was a key. It was a key and a cackle. It was a 6.5. What about you?
I gave it a 6.
Okay.
So kind of the same. I think it wasn't super well explained. And overall, it kind of felt messy in a way. But it had some really good elements. Like Frank Sowit, Dogan, Regina Berry. I didn't really care about the guy with the polar bear. The polar bear was cute. And I love the setting. I think it's a really interesting element. Like, we've never had anything in a prison, and that's such a clever idea.
Okay.
So yeah, for me it's a 6.
So I think we're on the same page.
Yeah.
So what about the Inherited Turnabout?
I give it an 8.
Okay.
I
Same.
really love that case.
I gave it an 8 as well.
It's a great case, and it deserves an 8.
We've discussed in the last week's episode that it could actually be a final episode.
Yeah, definitely.
It's that good.
It's that good. It's amazing. I love it.
It's a bit dampened by its pacing.
It is really long.
It's very long and kind of exhausting.
And the back and forth is kind of, yeah.
Yes. Like the structure.
Yeah.
But other than that, Gregory Edgeworth.
Absolutely.
The setting, the characters. Amazing stuff.
True.
So, what about the Forgotten Turnabout Bestie Sock?
I gave it a 6. Kind of for the same reason that Imprisoned Turnabout. I didn't really vibe with the characters. Like, it's Blaze the Best, which I found gross. And it felt very villainish from the beginning. And I don't know, it was kind of like a messy case. I didn't enjoy it as much. Like, it wasn't a bad case, but it was kind of, 6 for me.
Well, Bestie Sock, gave it an 8.5.
What? You gave it a higher rating than the Inherited Turnabout?
Yes.
Oh my god.
I love this case so much.
Oh my god, wow.
Kay is put in the middle of danger while there's a secret society which auctions off Ace Attorney memorabilia, a lot of hard returns. The setting is amazing. Edgeworth is presented to be a fugitive. Just, I don't know, I love it. I love Jill Crane and what she stood for. I love the secret room and investigating it. I love how it sets up the Grand Turnabout. I think this case is honestly one of the best cases. I think I was really wowed by it.
Okay. What about, drumrolls, the Grand Turnabout?
Well, this is where I gave it. This is where my second 10.
Of course.
10 out of 10 comes. It's a 10. It is. We've talked about it, but I don't know. I value it and love it as much as Bridge. It's a 10 for me. It's perfect. Everything, it wraps up everything so perfectly. And like, it does it so smoothly and so effortlessly, and Simon Keyes is such a good villain, and the reveal is so shocking that it cancels out any small problems I had with it, such as Justine Courtney supposedly having a teen pregnancy.
At 13.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I gave it a 9.5.
Yes.
Really close to a 10, but for me it's it doesn't have the same sentimental value to my heart
Mm.
than Bridge to Turnabout or
Turnabout Goodbyes.
Exactly. But it's still an excellent case, for sure.
Mm.
For all the reasons you've listed.
Yeah.
So, shall we move on to your favorite game?
Yay.
DD. Dual Destinies.
Dig down.
Turnabout Countdown.
Turnabout Countdown is a 3.5
Okay.
because it's, I don't know, very poopy.
Poopy.
Like very feces oriented.
Feces oriented. Okay.
I don't know. The only thing I like about it is the fact that there's a bomb at the courthouse and that Candace's arm has a bob.
Candace's arm does have a bob. That is true.
What's your name, B.O.B.? So they calling you Bob?
Yes.
Stop playing. You know that I'm known for the bob? That's Candace's arm talking.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
I gave it a 4. For kind of this, I don't think it's that great of an introduction case, especially because it's supposed to be the last trial of Athena, and Phoenix immediately comes to interrupt her, so rude. I do love Candace's arm.
Apollo and Juniper are annoying.
Flirting and stuff. Weird ass bitches.
Incels alert.
Absolutely. What else? I like the bomb element. I like Ted Tonate. He's just unhinged.
No, he reminded me of Pooh.
I like that he threatened to destroy the court. I liked some of the elements, but it was just kind of fell flat in the end. So 4.
But I didn't feel like, I feel like credit should be given to him, his actions instead of his characters, and his actions define him. Like, oh, he's a cop that's a bomb specialist, and that's his whole shtick. Like, no. The bombing was really interesting and a new idea, but what if it was like someone unsuspecting, like a female character who was hot and you'd never expect her to carry bombs, but maybe she could have hidden the bomb in her ass or something like you wouldn't see coming. But this guy, you saw him and you were like, okay, this guy is gonna bomb the courthouse.
Yeah, absolutely. There was no doubt. He was the Kim Richards of this case. Just scary eyes all over.
Scary eyes, yeah. Perfect.
Thank you.
So what about the Monsters Turnabout?
I gave the Monsters Turnabout a 2.
Okay.
It's a bad case.
So I know where your 1 is given.
Oh, yeah. It's a bad case. It just is.
Oh my god.
I'm sorry. Someone has to say it. What about you?
This is the lowest ranked case for me.
Did you give it a 1?
I gave it a 1. I hate this case. I actually hate this case. Like, I knew I didn't like Dual Destinies the moment we talked to Phineas Filch.
Absolutely.
That bitch.
He reminds you of someone you don't like. Let's just say that.
Yes. He reminds us of someone we don't like.
You don't like.
Well,
I still have loads of love in my heart for him.
Of course you do.
Of course.
So basically, we were talking to Phineas Filch. I remember I was in the toilet last year when I came back from university because of the pandemic. I was at home and I was playing this game on the toilet.
Yeah.
And I was talking to Phineas Filch, and he was being...
The real person or the game?
The game. He was being an annoying bitch, and Lively People was playing.
Lively People! That's the worst track of all time.
Just stinky vibes, skid mark. I hate this game. I hate this. Well, I don't like this game.
The case is bad.
But I hate the case. I hate it. Like, super bad. Florent LaBelle is the Joker.
Yeah.
Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah, for sure.
Whatever. Like, I didn't care about the monsters. I didn't care about the Japanese influence. Just horrible. I don't want to play it ever again. I hate it. Perfect.
What about Turnabout Academy?
I gave Turnabout Academy a 6.
Okay.
What about you?
I gave it a 5.
Okay.
For me, it's a mediocre case.
How come I gave it a higher score?
I know, I'm surprised. Because you hated it. Is it because of that Molly?
What?
That cardboard girl that you love?
Miriam Scuttlebutt.
Miriam Scuttlebutt.
Molly.
It starts with an M.
Miriam Scuttlebutt. Yeah, I love Miriam Scuttlebutt. There's a few stuff I love about Turnabout Academy. I love Miriam Scuttlebutt as a character. I love the setting, the idea of the setting, not the actual execution. I loved Aristotle Means' design. I loved Constance Court as a victim. Yeah. Investigating as Athena was fun. But that's pretty much it.
That's about it. And you liked the victim.
Yeah, I said Constance Court. Yeah, all the rest was horrible. I hated the 3 students, Juniper, Robin Newman, and that other bitch. What's his name?
Old guy.
Well, something.
Shit.
I hate him. The Dark Age of the Law literally
so fucking dumb
became trigger words for me after like reading them over 10,000 times. Yeah, it fell flat. Why was Clavier there? I don't know. I didn't like it that much. It was just, I liked going through the ideas and some of the stuff that weren't being developed, but it was interesting stuff.
Yeah, definitely. Dun, dun, dun.
Do you agree?
I agree, yeah. I think there are some redeemable qualities to it with overall mediocre case.
Okay.
A 5.
What about the Cosmic Bestie Sock?
I gave it a 6. Because the Cosmic Turnabout is the kind of not really interesting part of it's kind of the Cosmic Turnabout and Turnabout for Tomorrow are kind of the same
interconnected
story. But the Cosmic Turnabout is the meh version of it. You don't even get to explore.
Like the boring part.
Yeah, so yeah, it's a 6 for me. What about you?
I gave it a 5. I thought it was a lazy way to set up a case you wanted more time with.
Yeah.
I like Solomon Starbuck a lot. I want to
do unspeakable things to his body.
Yes. I'm too tired to think of something nasty. So yeah, you summed it up perfectly. Yeah, just very mediocre. I wish there was an investigation. Yeah. Kind of low-key sucked. So what about its direct sequel, Bestie Sock, Turnabout for Tomorrow?
I gave it an 8. For me, it's a good case, and I like it. I like the plot twist with the Phantom. I like the characters, or a black girl. I like the investigation. I like it. It's a good case in my book. Not the best, but an 8.
Okay.
What about you?
The only reason I gave it a 7 is because of Aurora Blackwell.
Yes.
Honestly. And Maya sending a letter.
True. Cute.
Very cute. But yeah, it sucked. It sucked ass. So, what about the Aquatic Turnabout?
I gave it a 9.
Oh my god.
I love this case so much. Sentimental values, of course, but I love it. I love it. This case can do no wrong in my mind. It's the recipe for Turnabout of the second trilogy for me.
Okay. I gave it a 7.5. Why does Marlon Rhymes turn into a monster?
We shall never know. Also, it was so unnecessary.
It was. But yeah. Lots of stuff to be grateful for here, but it just, for me, it carried the stink of Dual Destinies. So it's a 7.5.
Okay.
And now, to round off all our scores, our favorite game, Spirit of...
So good.
Spirit of Farts.
Yes.
What did you give the foreign turnabout, Bestie Sock?
A 3. It's a bad case. I don't like it.
Okay.
What about you?
I gave it a 4.
Okay.
Because I wanted to watch rabid dogs tear I'll Be Your Guide apart.
No.
And I didn't get that.
No. Okay.
And honestly, Kurain's introduction, yuck. Just, again, very poopy.
And chaotic.
Poop.
Doesn't make sense. Don't like it.
Just feces oriented. I hated it. What about the magical turnabout, Bestie Sock?
I know you must have given it an excellent grade. I gave it a 5.
Oh my god.
I don't love it. It's not a bad case. For me, it's meh. Well, what about you?
What the fuck?
I will not explain myself.
Explain yourself.
I will not.
Just tell me why.
No, I don't like it that much. I think...
But that much doesn't give it a 5.
For me, it's a 5. For me, it's a mediocre case. It's, like... The characters are so boring.
Like, you
don't like any of them.
You prefer Corner and Serenade?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I really don't like that case.
Okay.
So it's a 5.
You
gave it a 10?
No. I gave it an 8.
Okay.
I think it's an excellent case. I think it's a return to form. I think it's what the aquatic is to you.
I think so as well.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So, what about the Wright of Turnabout?
I gave it a 6. I think it's a more interesting case, but it's so annoying. Like, the characters are frustrating to be around, and I thought that I cannot shake the image of trust in me being channeled by Maya and his skinny body taking off the robe. I don't know. There was something disturbing about that case. I don't particularly love it. But it was interesting, and we never had that kind of plot twist, so I gave it a 6.
Okay. I give it a 7.5.
Okay.
Because I like the fact that in this foreign country, there's a vigilante dressing up as a holy, like, figure. I like that's a rebel. I liked, even if she wasn't in character or changed one bit, I liked seeing Maya. Yeah, I think it was okay. I didn't like the fact that the murder was actually a suicide. But it was fun. It was fun investigating with Riff as well.
Yeah.
So, on to your worst scored case, Turnabout Storyteller.
How did you know? I gave it a 1. I hate that case. That case punched me in the vagina, ran away, killed my cats, stole my purse,
and
put feces in a bag in front of my door, then lit on fire so I would step out and step on it and have poop all over my shoes. That's what this case did to me.
Hashtag pray for Turnabout Storyteller, everyone.
Pray for me? Have you heard what they've done to me? It's a bad case. I don't like it. at all.
What the fuck?
I hate it.
I'll never understand your beef.
It's a beef.
It is beef.
What about you?
I give it a 4. It's Athena's case. I love that for her. I like I don't remember his name, Raimundo or something. He's funny. He was channeling different personalities on the stand. I thought that was something completely new and revolutionary. I don't know. I went in thinking the worst because of you, and ended up I didn't have fun. It's honestly a very flawed case, and the lack of an investigation weakens it, and also just overall it also makes the mistreatment of Athena even worse, considering how much Blackwell has to help and how much our defendant disrespects us. But I don't know, I left appreciating the small things. Oh, and the localization sucked. So, what about Turnabout Revolution?
I gave it a 7.
A 7?
For
wow.
me, it's kind of in the same realm as Turnabout Ablaze when it comes to last cases. It's still good cases because, of course, it's the final cases, so it's gonna have a good writing. But it's lackluster, and you're not that interested, and it doesn't linger with you with the same way other final cases does.
Yeah.
What about you?
I gave it an 8, which is the same score I gave Ablaze. But it's not, I don't think of them in the same light. I did like returning to Kurain Village, excuse me. I did like the father-son moments between Dirke and Apollo. I did like seeing Queen Amara being Nana. Queen Garen as a final prosecutor was so satisfying. She was a cock destroyer extraordinaire. I love her. Dirke's reveal that he was being channeled by Maya was a good twist. And I liked having a civil trial over not a murder. Although what really pissed me off was Apollo versus Phoenix.
That was
Apollo. Yeah, that was blasphemous. But yeah, I enjoyed parts of Revolution. I think it was interesting. It wasn't the best by no means, but I did have some fun playing it. Like, it was a nice ending to a shitty game. So yeah, what about the most recent, like the last ever case we've gotten, Turnabout Time Traveler?
I give it a 4.
Okay.
There are some elements that I do like the return of the gang, Maya. Oh, I just wanted to say something about Turnabout Revolution. I love Dirke.
Yeah.
It's just amazing. I love everything about him. Chef kiss. For Turnabout Time Traveler, I like Larry, Edgeworth, Maya, and Phoenix reunited, but I think it was not well executed, and I didn't like the case overall. I will forever laugh at he was able to climb onto the edge of a balloon that was in the sky because of the power of love. Like, that doesn't stand in a courtroom. Like, it's just so stupid and dumb. And Len White was annoying. I didn't like the steampunk aesthetic. It was very... I don't like it. I don't like this case. 4. It's a 4. What about you?
I gave it a 5. I was a bit more fair. I liked the wedding aspect. And I liked Maya and Phoenix back in action against Edgeworth. And also Larry's return. After not seeing him in Dual Destinies or Apollo Justice. But I don't know, like, why do you call it time traveler when you establish in like a few minutes that it wasn't time traveling?
Exactly.
Why? It just, I didn't like it. The characters were super annoying. I hate the Sprocket family. Yeah, very empty. I didn't like it.
Absolutely.
So that wraps all of our scores. So now will be, since we've given a score to all the cases, we're gonna be revealing our top 10 and
Yeah.
our top 10 best and our top 5 worst cases, because some of them received same scores, so it's only fair for us to rank them. So, Bestie Sock, would you go over your top 10 best?
Yes. My top 10 best is 1. Bridge to Turnabout, 2. Turnabout Goodbyes, 3. The Grand Turnabout, 4. Farewell My Turnabout, 5. Recipe for Turnabout, 6. Turnabout Reclaimed, 7. The Inherited Turnabout, 8. Turnabout for Tomorrow, 9. Turnabout Samurai, and 10. Turnabout and Reunion.
I can't believe Turnabout for Tomorrow is in that mix.
Tell me yours.
Mine is 1. Bridge to Turnabout, 2. The Grand Turnabout, 3. Turnabout Goodbyes, 4. Farewell My Turnabout, 5. Recipe for Turnabout, 6. Rise from the Ashes, 7. The Forgotten Turnabout, 8. The Inherited Turnabout, 9. Turnabout Samurai, and 10. Turnabout Sisters.
I would just like to say for the records, Turnabout Sisters were my 11th.
Okay.
So very close to the top 10.
Amazing content.
Then, for my top 5 of my worst cases, at number 5, Turnabout Big Top. Okay, I'll just take number 1, Turnabout Storyteller. Number 2, Turnabout The Monsters Turnabout. Number 3, The Foreign Turnabout. Number 4, Turnabout Trump. Number 5, Turnabout Big Top.
Oh my god, Turnabout Trump.
I hate
Sure.
it.
Mine is number 1, The Monsters Turnabout. Number 2, The Stolen Turnabout. Number 3, Turnabout Countdown. Number 4, The Foreign Turnabout. And number 5, Turnabout Visitor. Not that it's bad, but it's not good either. And now, having done all this work, my back is aching, my ass is hurting, and my eyes are watery and puffy. What we are gonna do is calculate the average of each game based on the scores we gave each case to see if the ranking will match with the ranking we gave at the beginning. Mine doesn't.
Mine does.
Really?
Mine does, yeah.
Oh my god.
I was really happy about this.
What the fuck?
So should I just give my ranking and the
Yeah.
Okay, so first, it's Trials and Tribulation with 7.2.
Yeah.
Then Phoenix Wright the first with a 7. Then Investigation 2 with 6.9. Then Justice for All with 5.8. That's actually tied with Investigation 1, 5.8.
Yeah.
And then Dual Destiny with 5.6. Apple of Justice with 5. And Spirit of Justice with 4.3. There you go. Those are my scores.
Okay. Mine is very different. Mine is Ace Attorney Investigations 2 Prosecutor's Path at an 8.
Okay.
Number 2 is Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney with a 7.9.
Okay.
Number 3 is Trials and Tribulations with a 7.2.
Okay.
Number 4 is...
I had a 7.2 too.
Yeah. So, what the fuck? Number 4 is Investigations with 6.3. Then it's Justice for All with a tied 6.3, just like you.
Mm.
Then it's Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Spirit of Justice with a 6.1. Then at number 7, Apollo Justice Ace Attorney with a 5.2. And lastly, Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Dual Destinies with a 5. Totally random.
Mm.
Perfect. So we've reached the end of this cursed episode. Very cursed.
Mm.
Very poop oriented.
Yes. Absolutely.
And yeah, we have some exciting stuff planned for next week.
Yes. We shall not reveal our plans.
Because we might not follow
Yes.
through with them.
Absolutely.
Knowing us.
But this was a very fun episode.
Yeah,
and
it was.
For the first time in the same room, which is exciting.
Uh-huh. So, Lucy, what are we doing next?
We are going to bed.
No.
Yes, we are.
No.
What do you want to do?
I want us to watch clips of Real Housewives in bed.
Okay, we'll do that.
Perfect. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Yes.
And thank you for listening. And
We'll see you next week.
We'll see you next week.
Love you guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
Good night.
Good night.